Mermaid. Okay, hi guys. So this is, I think, last week's video because we were organized and haven't got sorted yet. Sorry if anyone has been watching this. Okay, which I doubt, but still. Okay, right, this time I'm going to try and be serious. Okay, so this video is about magical preferences, and it's yeah, so basically my own magical preferences. This may take some time because I haven't thought this out before actually doing it. I think I'm going to talk about elements and herbs and deities and well, I'll get to that when I come to it. Okay. So, first of all, I've forgotten what I just said. What did I just say? Oh yes, elements and herbs and deities. Okay, so elements. I do let's see, herbs. Did I just say elements or herbs? What was I going to do? Elements, right. Okay. Down to business. Oh, my hair's a mess. Oh, well, whatever, it's always a mess. Okay, I'm just sitting here making my hair look better. Okay, right. Elements. The elements, I mean, everyone works with all the elements, I think. At least that's what I've read and what I've seen and everything. I mean, there's some really good videos on YouTube of people doing rituals and things, and they're really inspiring and everything. This has nothing to do with magical preferences. Okay, so moving on. Elements. I must have said that word at least 5 times already. Actually, I think I may have to watch this after I've finished it and count how many times I say each word because it seems to be a long time. Right, to the point. Elements. Okay, well, the element I work with mainly. I mean, I've just said this, haven't I? I've just said that I work with all the elements, but Earth is the one that I'm drawn to magically. I mean, honestly, I'm never happier. Well, okay, there are times when I am happy, but I'm happy out in the woods, near actual Earth. And of course, Earth is the opposite of air and everything. And that's one of the reasons why I feel drawn to Earth more, because I am terrified of heights. I would be scared standing on this table. You can't see how high the table is. I would be scared standing on, well, that table if it were on top of that couch. Can you see it? That little table over there. No, there. Oh, this is confusing. That table over there on that couch, I would be scared of standing on. What am I talking about? Anyway, so, also, I mean, my personality is really kind of fiery. I mean, typically fire is passion and love. Nah, I'm not so much love really, am I? But passion and courage and confidence and anger. Yeah, that's me. I cannot tell you how pissed I get at people sometimes. No, I have screamed at people before. I swore in class once, like really loudly. The entire class heard, but the teacher saw how angry I was, and obviously she thought that I was in the right, so she let me away with it. It was brilliant. Everyone was like, she swore, and the teacher's just like, whatever, you lot, see me after class. I mean, I don't normally do that, but they were taking the mick out of paganism. I could hear them say words really clearly from right across the other side of the classroom. And then they said incubus succubus really loudly. And then I could hear them all laughing about it. So it's obvious that they were taking the mick out of me, other witches, and, decent music. Which they shouldn't. Because the kind of music they like is not the kind of music I like. I mean, I wouldn't downgrade their music, but they do music that I like, which isn't fair. I mean, honestly, it's horrible sometimes. What am I talking about? This has nothing to do with magical preferences. How did I even get onto talking about this? What was I talking about? I was talking about, oh yeah, fire and everything, and then how I get angry, and then an example of how I get angry. That's what I was talking about. So technically it is connected to Magickal Preferences. Oh well, whatever. I mean, you know, in a circle or anything, I would probably take the place of Earth. Because, you know, I feel stronger drawn to that than I do to fire. Water, not so much me, but, you know. But still. Okay, right, so herbs. I like cinnamon. I use a lot of cinnamon. I smoked cinnamon once, like right over there. It was funny. At a sleepover. We were trying it and and one of my friends choked on it. She was really bad at it. It was funny. That was hilarious. We need to do that again sometime. Okay, anyway, I'm on Dad's computer right now because it's a lot better and I don't have my laptop with me. That's 6 minutes and 12 seconds talking about nothing. Now it's 6 minutes 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right, stop counting. Okay, and what else? Right, herbs. I was talking about herbs. So, yes, cinnamon is, you know, herb I use a lot. What is it for? It's for love and beauty and luck. I'm not sure, I can't remember. A bunch of stuff, and it's really useful. Well, for me anyway, I like cinnamon. It works for me. I also used basil. And what else have I used? I can't remember. I actually cannot remember. I have like raided the kitchen cupboard. I have cinnamon, basil, barley. I'm not sure. Something else beginning with B. I think could be beginning with C. Actually, it could be beginning with any letter. I have such bad memory. Honestly, one time. Well, one time I said, speaking of forgetting things, that reminds me. And then I started talking about how bad my memory was. So, I'm still laughing about that, honestly. There are such random things to talk about sometimes. Right, yes, I'm doing a video, aren't I? I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. I need to remember this. And, okay, right. There's just a little person bobbing up and down in the park over there. But that's because they're walking normally and there's hills in front of them. Which is why it just looks like a little white thing going up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay, right. This has nothing to do with anything. Okay, so I was talking about herbs. Nah, I can't think of anything else to say really. But I use cinnamon a lot because I did a love spell once. Same for basil, and the same for whatever other herb it was I used. It didn't do the love spell for me. It was for a friend, who she will kill me if I tell you her name, and it didn't work anyway. So whatever. See, magic always works better if you do it yourself rather than getting someone else to do it. Actually, once I did a love spell for Dad once. It must have been about 8, maybe 9. And it was in a little box out of this, I think, this is a series called Magickal or something. And it's like magic spelled with just a C at the end, not a CK. And it's really good though. I mean, they have one on psychic powers, which I tried a bunch of stuff in that. One of them was like staring at people when you're on the bus. And I have to get a bus to school and back every day anyway. So I sat staring at people when we got into town on the way to school. And yeah, it never worked. No one ever turned around at me. So either they're not very psychic or I'm not very good at making other people psychic. That doesn't make sense. You know, whatever. It's basically something about, you know, oh my goddess, is that 9 minutes and a half already? So, anyway, so that's the psychic power stuff. And then, so there's a book called Spells, and I did that. And hey, that's Magickal Preferences, I like that book. Oh, actually, that's a good idea. I could talk about my, the books that I used. My dad, like, for once, why am I saying like? I never say like, well, I do sometimes, don't I? Like I just did. Again! Oh my goddess. Right. and I was, it was about a week before my birthday, and Dad had ordered back in a few months ago, back in December. It was about a week before my birthday, and I did use I had a book of shadows already, a book that when I was Christian I used it to write down prayers. It never worked, honestly. I could never actually pray daily. I'm a lot better at it now, but I'm still not very good. But still. So, this book I had as my book of shadows. Dad got me a new one, which is lovely, and I use that one more now. It's really nice. It's got a sleek black cover, and it's got a pentacle on the front of it, and then on the side it says Book of Shadows, and I love it. It's brilliant. And with that, he got me a book called A Witch's Grimoire, and that's a really good book, and I'd recommend it. And so it's got tons of information about tons of stuff you should put in your Book of Shadows. It's got information about correspondences for each full moon and for each new moon. It's got correspondences for the Sabbats, and it's got all sorts of things like that. And then it's got the actual Sabbats and when they all are in it as well. It's really useful. And so this is going to be a long video, and not even halfway done yet. And so that's a brilliant book. And then another one is The Wicca Handbook by Aileen Holland, and that was my very first Wicca book. I mean, honestly, I'd got information off the internet, reading a bunch of Silver Ravenwolf stuff and that kind of thing, but the Wicca Handbook really helped me. I mean, it doesn't have much. It's got information at the beginning. I mean, not that it doesn't have much. It doesn't have much in the way of actual information. I mean, it does. More than half of it is information, but this makes no sense. Okay, about half of it is information, the rest is correspondences. And that is so useful. I would sit there copying it out into my first Book of Shadows, which isn't even half full. Actually, it's hardly full at all. Which reminds me, I need to write in it again. Okay, to the point. And honestly, it would have information about the Sabbats again, only in more detail. And it had tons of detail about everything. It was really useful. Brilliant beginner's book. Actually, brilliant any levels book because of the correspondences, and it's easy to go back and find things. So that, along with A Witch's Grimoire, I lent to Raven. And so what else have I got? I have 3 Silver Ravenwolf books. Honestly, just wait till I get the third one. Not third one, the fourth one. The first one I got was, what is it? It's Teen Witch Wicca for a New Generation. And after I got it, I realised that Silver Ravenwolf was actually the author that I had been looking up at the beginning of my research, I hadn't been looking her up, but I'd found, I'd type in questions into Google and all that, and it'd come up with things by her. And I never noticed until I got the book. And then I went back and said, oh, that's who it is, and that's brilliant. Oh my god, not again. I'm almost 14 minutes in. Okay. So I got Teen Witch Wicca for a New Generation. That is brilliant. Honestly, it's so useful. It's got so much information. And then the next book I got was the first of that series by her, and I'm not sure what it is. What is it? It is, I've forgotten the name. It's To Stir a Magic Cauldron. No, it's not. That's the second one. It's To Ride a Silver Broomstick. And that's really good. It's got so much information about everything. It's like the basics and how to do rituals and everything. And then the next one is Stir a Magic Cauldron, and that expands on it. So it's really useful to, because you don't get everything. You actually don't get much in a single book or a single website. You have to build on it, and you need to get tons of things. So I now have 5 witchy books or pagan books or whatever you want to call them, and I really can't wait to get to Light a Sacred Flame, which is the third in that Silver Ravenwolf series, and that looks